We're with JB Mackenzie here on Money FM 89.3. He is the Chief Operating Officer of TD Ameritrade Futures and Forex LLC. Thank you, JB, for being with us today. So we're going to begin with the first question. It's about the US dollar. It's rallied sharply in the last 18 months. And something that the monetary policy, which has supported this US dollar, which is close to peaking, and also other factors like the central bank, like ECB, starting to tighten its policy, they might cause the US dollar to actually lose its shine, okay? So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's interesting because you've already started to see that happen a little bit this week. You've had a bit of a sell-off on the dollar as you've seen these other currencies rally. So what I want to see is this continuation, because so far we've had a couple of pullbacks over the last couple of months, and then the dollar has continued to rally. Especially this is going on while the US is tightening or adding interest rates hikes over the next couple of months. So I think what we want to see is, does this foreign countries, euro, yen, etc., continue to start to increase their interest rates? Does that have an impact, as well as what happens in the trade wars?
All right. Are you able to foresee when perhaps the strong US dollar could actually peak?
I wish I could. I'd be in a great shape if I was able to. But no, I think what now the big question for the dollar is going to be what happens with the euro, what happens with China and the yuan, and also what happens with the yen. Do those three areas start to have an increase in the value of their currencies to push down the dollar, or does the dollar, which sort of has become a safe haven, continue to have a flood of new investors?
Okay, let's step away from the US dollar for a little bit. Looking ahead into the next 6 months, I'm always asking you to look ahead. Which currencies are you most positive about?
So I'm really interested in looking at the Canadian dollar. One of the reasons I'm looking at the Canadian dollar is it has a strong correlation to energy prices and crude. And what we've seen is a little bit of this rally from the crude oil, as well as the NAFTA negotiations appearing to get closer. You've now seen a little bit of a lift in the Canadian dollar. So that's one that I'm looking at. And then also I think I'm going to be looking at the Japanese yen. And the reason I'm looking at the yen is you had the very first positive or bullish remarks come out about 2 weeks ago, and you started to see the yen rally from there. So again, over the next 6 months, I want to see what comes from there.
All right. And if the US dollar, back to that, defies expectations, if it continues in this upward trajectory, perhaps next year, do you think that this, together with the higher US interest rates, so we're talking about hikes, could even cause significant stress for the emerging markets? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think you're seeing it right now already happening. You're watching what happened in Turkey. You're seeing what's happening in Venezuela. You're seeing this impact of that strong dollar, because a lot of them do stuff back into the US dollar. So if this dollar continues to basically break its correlation from where interest rates are rising up and it continues to build up from there, I do think you could see more pressure on these emerging markets.
Okay, we've enjoyed our few moments with you. JB Mackenzie, Chief Operating Officer of TD Ameritrade Futures and Forex LLC. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Here on Money FM 89.3.
Money FM 89.